rather than spend a lot of time editing the video, maybe I can talk cleanly enough to consider this the demo guide, whatever you want to call it. So here goes. If not, maybe we'll give it a better whack, but at least this will put something out there for the world. Why not? Alright, so welcome. This is Break Time, the National Pool Tour. This is an NES game, very late in the NES life cycle. I'm Darth Turiel, an avid runner of the game, I guess. One of the few, but a growing new crowd of people that actually do enjoy the game. It's fun. The game has 5 categories. For speedrun purposes or submission purposes: 9-ball, rotation, 8-ball, 14-1 rack game, and the National Pool Tour mode. So each one of those is a separate category, timed in its own, with its own set of times. 9-ball is the very shortest, or the most like an any percent kind of, no wrong warp or glitch type of category. It's the fastest thing you can do in the game, and one of the fastest speedruns on the face of the earth that I have personally partaken in. As far as we know, it can't be any faster than 38 seconds. So no 37 anythings that we know of, but we're not even sure how far it can go into 38. I've gotten it to 38.93, so it's like 4 frames under 39. So there's not a lot of room, and that's almost frame perfect now. Like, there aren't many frames left. But let's go ahead and open up the 9-ball, and we'll create some saves so we can redo it in case it doesn't work out. You can pick anybody you want, it doesn't matter. One game is plenty. We're going to reset if it doesn't work anyway. For your name, either fill in when you hit the 4th letter, it'll start the game automatically. If you do less than 4, you have to go to end and hit A on it. The second you press A is when the timer starts. So we'll create a save after this even too. So this world record again, I'll show you, and you can actually get on the board top 10 it no problem. It's only going to take a few tries, and then if you really want to start grinding the category, if you're crazy enough or care for any reason, it'll be totally doable. But if you just do what I show you right here, you just go in right now and do what I'm about to show you, you will beat this in less than 45 seconds, probably less than 42 seconds without even hurrying, and it won't take you all of 5 minutes to get on the board. Actually, that would be a top 5 time right now. So what happens is when the game starts off and it says the name of what it is, so it says 9-ball there, you've got to be holding start and select when that comes up, and just keep holding it until it says break shot. That alone is just something that took 20-something years to get out there in the public. It's a skip I discovered just mashing my controller, getting frustrated, resetting, because it's such a slow reset to reload this game. So just hold start and select. When it's loading up, it'll say the game style. It'll say 8-ball, 9-ball, rotation, whatever. And while it's saying that on the screen, just keep holding start and select until it says break shot. If you do it wrong, it'll say shootout, and there's like a 30 second to 1 minute thing you have to do before the game starts. And if you don't win, it's not your turn, but if you do win, then it's your turn. So the original world record does this one-shot trick, but it uses the shootout, so they didn't know how to do the Darth break or the skip that I came up with to just go right to this point. So hold start, select, and get to this point. Save yourself, what was it, 1 minute and 11 seconds, so it's 21, 22 seconds. Save yourself that time. So when it loads up, your ball's going to be right here on that little dot. You have to go 1 pixel and only 1 pixel down. So get used to where that is. That's the pixel. I just moved it down 1 pixel. If it's any lower than that, it's too far. So go down 1 pixel, and now what you have to do is go forward. Get the ball to move forward, and it's going to have to act... Oops. I didn't hit B. So once you go down a pixel, you hit B, and that locks in where the ball is on the headline. Now you're aiming your shot. To get your ball to not just spin around and do weird stuff, you have to go forward by 3 whole pixels, I think, or 2 whole pixels, which requires 3 frames worth of A taps, or 3 inputs of A. So it's actually, I think, probably 5 or 6 frames, because you need a space between them, unless you're holding it. And that's the key here. If it's only a frame forward, it won't actually go right. It'll still just shoot and spin and go straight up. But if you go 2 pixels to the right, so again, 1 pixel down, lock it in, get your aimer up. You go 1, 2 pixels to the right, and then a pixel up. Alright, so if you do, let me see, let's just make sure. It might be 3 pixels to the right now that I'm looking at it. But if it's locked in right here, you're setting your English, you're just holding up and to the right until it stops. I'm still holding up and right. You can see it on my input. It doesn't go anywhere. It'll always get stuck on that little corner there. So get it to that point. Hit B, rather hit A to engage your shot now. So you hit B after you moved it down a pixel. So down a pixel, press B, locks it in. Adjust your aim over 2 pixels or 3. We're going to check that quick. And then up 1. Hit B to lock it in. Brings you to your English, holding up and right the whole time. And you're able to buffer these in, holding the buttons down. Hit A at the end of this one. If you hit B, it'll go back to aiming your shot. You don't want to aim again. You want to hit A to engage your power. And your power just needs to be max or 1 pixel under max. So it's basically going to be hitting the power button, and it's going to go right and left here. It's going to be hitting it basically as it's passing in a rightward direction, the last arrow, and it should lock in powerful enough to do it. So let's see. Yeah, that was right. And that's it. So see what I did? The 9 ball just went in, and that's the end of the game. We won. So that's your 9 ball world record strat, a trick that I didn't invent. World record that used to be 111, I believe it was, found or at least exploited this trick. I just counted pixel by pixel exactly how it works in the most optimized setting. So they don't use exactly what I just did. They actually line up the cursor in the shot over the balls themselves where they're racked up. Yeah, and 111 had a shoot off. So the Darth break skips the shoot off because we've learned to hold start and select, right? Because I'm super impatient. So I had to, I just mashed my controller in between stuff and I found it accidentally. And I didn't even know how it worked, actually. It took like a week's worth of playing the game for me to get brave enough to let go of certain buttons to narrow it down to what was doing it. Otherwise, I was hitting every button on my controller. That's even how I explained it to the mod. I was like, I don't know. I make sure I'm holding these and mashing all this. And I started removing inputs until I got it down to the hold, start, select. So, yeah, it took 20 years before, 20-something years before we even, no, 28 years? 29 years before we even knew you could skip the shootout. But now that we do, we never shoot out. Then instead of copying their inputs, I just started working on how fast you could get the ball to actually travel left and still go on the line you need and what your power is that you required. But we know it's a pixel down, 2 pixels, the ball goes a pixel down and the aimer goes 2 pixels or 3 A inputs to the left and 1 input up. Then you just have to make sure you get a shot off within full power or 1 hash down from full power. So when it loads up, I tap down and then hit B, and then while it's loading the next cycle, that is the aiming part, this thing, right, the cursor, I'm already holding right, so that way it's going to just start left, and then hopefully hit up once right there, and hopefully it's as quick as I can get it there. And then you just have to make sure that you pop your B off, get your English as fast as you can, and try to line up your power. And rinse and repeat when you fail. And it might take lots of tries. It might take 1 try, but you can definitely get a sub 40 with no real effort, and then the milliseconds will take stupid amounts of grinding that nobody expects you to do, but if you do, kudos to you. Wait, just start? See, I still haven't got brave enough to see how easy it is. Just hold start. So Montreal Chris has just modified the whole thing. Yeah, but nobody ever found that, which was so weird. I guess I'm the kind of person that I accidentally hit inputs all the time and mess up my runs and cause resets when it's in between screens, or like I'll pause the game for no reason all the time. And so that's boom. There's just same thing on my mouse. Like I'll right click on my mouse all the time and bring up the menu box. The Montreal skip. And we still got the Nico cheese, right? That's syncing the 8-ball. Getting the computer to sync. Let's go to the next one. All right, so that's your world record right there for your world record strats. Get yourself on the board if you're not already. Chris, yeah, you already are, I know. But anybody else who sees it, watches it, catches this, whatever, there you go. Free top 10 for you until we start filling the board out. It is down to milliseconds, though, so, it's getting tight. So, next one is going to be 8-ball. We're not going to do anything here. I'm not even going to really play this. But 8-ball, the big thing with the 8-ball is how you can win this one. So, the rules in 8-ball require you to sink a ball, and whatever class of ball it is, high numbers or low numbers, right, above or below 8, that's your set of numbers. So if you sink a 3, you're low balls, right, low numbers. So now your job is to sink all the low numbers, and then when they're gone, you can shoot the 8-ball in and win. Or if you're high numbers, you got to clear all the 8-balls off the table, and then you're allowed to shoot the 8-ball, and then you win. But if you sink the 8-ball before your set of numbers are gone, you lose. However, if the computer sinks the 8-ball before their set of numbers is gone, you win. So, unfortunately, in this one, the new strat is just going to be starting the game up, skipping the break as we do, taking your shot, not sinking anything on the break, and then waiting for the computer to sink the 8-ball. If they do not, you reset. You don't even get to play this one anymore, really. It's kind of woeful. I'm sorry I ruined it, but it's the way to beat it. The computer can sink the 8-ball, I do believe, as quick as about 1 minute and 20 seconds. I think both Chris and I have seen the ball teeter on the pocket edge, like pixels off of going in, right about that 120 to 140 mark, but it hasn't. And it took a couple hundred attempts just for me to get the 212 or whatever it is now to come out. But literally all I do is I start the game, I skip the break with the Darth Montreal skip now we got for it, and I take my shot. I don't sink anything on the break. That way it goes right to the computer's turn. I forgot to hold the button, see? And yeah, 135. Exactly. Yep. That's exactly where I was. It was right around that same time. It's like the 120 to 140 mark. There's a propensity for it to happen. There's like the ball gets popped out if you do everything right. So if you accidentally shoot off, the goal of shoot off is to hit the bumper once on the other side, the left, and then come back to the right as close to the right bumper as possible without hitting it. So closest person wins. I assume it's just a set power that you can do it every time. I have no idea. I never do this stupid thing. Obviously, I invented the freaking skip for a reason. Fruit fly. So we'll just wade through it. And this is what we're avoiding. So that's the shootout. So remember, holding start. Just holding start before the game's type is shown on the screen all the way till it says shoot. Doesn't say shootout till it says break shot that. But let's get the save here. This one is really tough. So setting up the shot is kind of tough because you have to break apart the balls enough that the 8-ball's exposed. But if you make shots, you're only actually taking longer, I guess. So giving the computer the ball is usually going to work out. So far has been proven to be the fastest. Doesn't mean it is. You know, there's always room for new strats and improvements, but firing off the break on an 8-ball setup, so this triangular rack, it's usually best lined up almost with the edge of the ball, the top lip of the ball here, lined up with this pocket here, right about there. Coming back in, aiming around the 8-ball, maybe a little below or the 7 or the 10 behind, but in this region. And then again, setting your English to the hard top right corner. And you can get 3 balls to pop out here, which is another strat for another type. But in this one, you don't want to pop the balls out and knock them in the pockets per se. You just want to open them up and allow the computer to run the train on the table until they fail. So it's going to knock in a couple high balls there, but see how much it scatters them and how many you can get in. On rotation, this is key. Look what I just hit there, 14 and 15. If I did that in rotation, I would have 29 points right now, right? That's halfway to winning the game on the break. And I've actually gotten also like the 11 in that mix, I think it is. Or no, the 13 that's up there. I think the 13 popped in with them. So we're talking, what, 42 points on the break. That means I only would have to sink the next 2 balls, and they don't even have to be the highest on the table for it to be over. So it would be a 3-shot clear in rotation. Very close to it, but haven't got it to work yet. In this type, that's not how you play, so you're just gonna, again, you could play it right and try to do it cheeseless, but the amount of shots it takes take longer than 2 minutes to get into the pockets, even if you land every shot. So I don't think you can win it without letting the computer fail anymore. So, you know, I got a shot in. Honestly, it's probably a reset at this point. If it's not, the next best thing you can do is just whack a shot quick and get the ball in the computer's hand. It's sad, but that's the nature of this one. So if you want to get on the board, get ready to just let the game play itself after setting it up and resetting every 2 minutes, which means you can't even casually like kick back and do something else because you're constantly resetting and then putting your name in and hitting start and skipping the you know, like, I used to just play the game and like I could do stuff on my phone in between and whatnot. Now it's the resets are so fast that you actually have to focus on it, and it gets boring just watching Ed sink balls or miss and resetting. But that's 8-ball. Sorry, that's it. You know, you just got to be very lucky. That's more of an RNG one now. Rotation, though, that's the one that we said is also like 8-ball in its setup with the same rack as 8-ball. So in the rotation, again, I always choose Ed. He seems to think the least, which saves time when it is their turn, because they have completely random time for how long they think it feels random. Sometimes they think for 20-30 seconds between shots. Like it's like a loading screen. You're just waiting for it and waiting for it. So yeah, let's do the hold start button here. So just holding start, and thank you for that, Montreal Chris. And we'll get into a break shot. Yeah, so no more shootout. So in this one, the rules are you have to hit. That means make contact. The cue ball has to make contact with the lowest number on the table. Doesn't have to sink that one, but until that one has been sank in the pocket, it's the first ball you have to hit. Now that means you can use it to hit other balls into the holes or whatever. So on the break, you have to hit the 1. Like if you don't hit that 1 on the nose there, you fail because it's the lowest number. And until it goes in a pocket, you have to always start by hitting the 1. So the goal is going to be to use the break right up around this region. Right, line up and it doesn't work out a lot often, and even if you actually get the everything consistent on this one, it still it seems to be variable. So I'm not sure. It might have a couple of different outcomes based on, you know, the same pattern of inputs. Like in that it's like still got some RNG to the shot, but optimally, you can get over 40 points in that shot right there. You get exactly the number of points for the number on the ball. So I sunk the 3 ball, I have 3 points. Again, the 1 is on the table, so I have to hit the 1 first, but I can use it to knock anything in. But in this one, the goal is going to be, honestly, just having the best break possible and getting the balls scattered like this so they are easy to work with. Knowing that you're not trying to sink the low balls, sinking one is going to take time and not help you almost in any way. So using the one to hit other things in is the way to go. But if you start out with 40, all you got to do is line up that one with one of the remaining double-digit numbers and try to get it in. You're already into the 50s. Next ball will win it for you. Maybe you have to hit the one in and then try like to hit the two into some, I don't know, but it can be tighter by a lot. I think this is possible in 3 to 5 minutes actually, with no problem. But I find the what is the world record on this one? I find the world record already kind of a pain to try to beat. It's not as bad as 14 to 1 though. What's this one? Rotation. Oh, 431. That's you, Chris. Yeah. So Montreal Chris is the world record holder in this game type at 431. So yeah, that 3 to 5 minutes is obviously very feasible, but I think it can be lower. But it's yeah, 14 to 1. Well, that's the final category. So again, yeah, you just know how it works. The break is the all-important part of this one. The more points you get on the break, A, the cleaner the board is and easier to get other shots in, and B, well, the fewer it's going to take. Because if you can get 3 shots in and 40 points on the break, you're not going to get 3 balls in on any shots from here on out. The collision is weird in this game. You might sink 2 on a shot if you're super lucky. But, so getting 3 in on one shot cuts down on how many shots you even have to take to get that many points as well. So just added efficiency. 14 to 1, so painful. 14 to 1 is the very last unique gameplay, technically. 14 to 1 is going to rack like 8 ball. That is a full 15 rack of balls. Instead of the 9 balls that's in a diamond, so it's a full triangle of 15. Instead of having the 8 ball in the center, though, let's just whatever there. So watch the rack. The rack changes. That's just a subtle difference. Holding start, of course, always holding start when it says 14-1. Not letting go till we know we've got the skip. This one's going to give instructions, so now I have to clear these. But we did it already, so the skip worked. Whoever gets 15 points will be the winner. You got to hit the button on the triangle. When the triangle shows up on the letter box down there, you've got to clear it. So again, see that little triangle? That's the advanced text. So this one, the 8 ball's on the back end, right? So it just changes the order of the balls from 8 ball to this is the 14 to 1 rack. In this one, oh, yeah. This one you've got to call every shot. So, it's tough. And this one is probably the most pure, I guess, technically skilled version or category of this game. To do this one well and to beat WRD 116, WRD's world record in this, you're going to actually and legitimately have to get pretty good at this game as far as sinking the balls and playing pool for real. It's no cheese, no easy strat, no technique here as far as man-up. Get good and sink them. So put your ball somewhere. Again, I still find this to be a decent spot up here. Always a nice little angle with that same English. But now we got to call a shot. So I can semi-consistently sink the 1 and 5. So I'll always choose the 5. If you choose the 1 and it goes in, it's not going to count anyway. There's some rules that I'm not sure behind it as far as hitting bumpers or I don't know. There's some priorities that it doesn't count as getting it right, even if you choose 1 and choose the bottom left, unless others go in. So if I've got to get 2 anyway, if I get the 5 alone, it does count though. So, but this this setup here, and it's not going to work probably. It's pretty precise and probably not even a guarantee. But if you can get the 1 and the 5 to squirt in, you've started out with 2 shots. So 14 to 1, you get 1 point per shot made. You have to call the ball and what pocket it goes in. If you don't make it in the right pocket or you don't hit the right ball, you just lose your turn, right? So mostly skill, or almost purely skill. So if I can start out sinking the 1 and 5, I'll maintain possession of the board. And you see how they go off in the angles the way they did? They went towards those corners, but they don't, you know. You're going to have to do some work on exactly the setup that'll pop them in. But I can get those to go in, and I probably just need to work on pixel placement like that 9-ball setup. Because then it'd be your turn, you would have 2, and you can start to clear the board out. So he's got to call. He called 12 ball. He picked the hole. He's got to make that. And you just keep going. So you've just basically got to clear all the balls without losing a turn. That's going to be how you're going to world record this. Just get good. Line it up. But again, the break's all important on it. Just having that good start. Because sinking 2 gives you an extra point, right? 1 less shot you have to take. And sinking 2 also doesn't fail your break turn. So you get to keep going. Which again, now the computer doesn't take a shot, so 1 at worst if they make it more. So you're removing 2, maybe even 3 turns or shots by sinking 2 off the bat and then continuing. Once you sink 14 of the balls, the game resets. It'll rack 14 of them without the ball on the nose, and it will put the 15th ball, whatever one was left from the first game. This is always a 2-game game type. So once you get 14 in, there's 1 ball left. They'll put it where the cue ball goes. They'll put the cue ball on the center dot, and they'll rack all the rest of the balls in that same triangle off to the left where they always go. There is an exact shot where you can shoot to the right and hit the leftover ball on the rightmost dot there, the head mark dot. You can hit it off the right bumper and get it into the top left corner. 100% guarantee every time. You just have to count the pixels, and that shot will work. So if you get the 14th ball in the first game, you get to take the shot in the new game. And since that shot is guaranteed, that's a point, and then you get to take the break on the new rack of 14. It's a weird rack, but yeah. So that's the next strategy would be, and I don't have a save point there, but that'd be the next thing, is getting to is sinking the 14th ball so that way you get to take the free shot on the new game, sinking that 15th ball with the guaranteed strategy or setup, which is used, it's definitely used in my not world record game, I'm pretty sure, but and then have a good break hopefully and get it done. But you can win on that shot if you sunk all 14 technically, right? It'd be 15-0. So, final category for break time, the National Pool Tour, is the National Pool Tour. That's just a repeat of 9-ball. However, it's best of 3 against 5 computer characters, I believe it is. Yeah, 5. So, a minimum of 10 games of 9-ball, no matter how you do it. If you win, you know, your 2 games in a row, then there is no third game. You advance, and you just keep doing that. Since it's 9-ball, and we know how to win 9-ball, technically, this one can be beat in 10 shots. However, even though we know the exact setup for the 9-ball, making 10 of them in a row using the pixel setup, it's not 100% every time, so I think you'd need some real RNG luck. And also your power has to be perfect all 10, but you can definitely get through a lot of those with that one shot. Whoever makes all 10 first is going to have a very hard record to beat, and then it's just down to speed. I think in mine I did like 7 of the games, but if you don't do even 1, you have to play the whole game. They're very hard to win, those 9-ball games against the computer, and they take a long time, and the ones I did have to play, I won pretty early in the games, like they didn't go on too long, so, and I think I did lose even with it. Like it's tough to get through all of it, and if you don't sink the 9-ball on the break, you got a rough set of games ahead of you, And if you reset every time you don't sync it, I mean, trying to do 10 in a row, you're gonna be playing forever. Like you're gonna be resetting and reset. You think the 9-ball is frustrating, trying to do it without actually counting the pixels, just trying to get it, you know, as fast as frame perfectly possible. Even measuring it up 10 times in a row, like you're not gonna get them. I mean, so you just gotta soldier through when you miss it and win the game legit. And try to get as many as you can, and it takes forever. My first completion and the first ever submission for the category was over 3 hours, if you recall. Getting it to 44 minutes or under 1 hour took probably like, what is that on? Let's see. Let's check out the splits. National Pool Tour. 28 resets. At almost an hour a piece. An hour, maybe more than an hour, honestly. You never know. Yeah. It's not fun. Yeah, look at that. First split didn't work out. 15 minutes. The second split, it was only 5 minutes. I got both of those. Bop, bop. The next split, only 3 minutes. Look at that. 3:02. Both of those. Bop, bop. And the split after that, 12. Didn't succeed there. Then 9. So probably didn't succeed there. Maybe one of them. But yeah. So I got 2 for 4 in a row, it looks like. Milwaukee and Atlanta, I didn't even play. I just one-shot through those. Beating Atlanta, LA, or the Vegas character, insanely tough though. They're pretty good. They're no Ed. Let me tell you that much. They're not even not trying to fake it or start out slow or do anything cheesy. They just come out firing. But what I do love best is this is the National Pool Tour, but it's not an official like pool league. Like we're not in, what is it, the PBA? Or not, it's bowling. What is? I don't know what pool is. I'm sorry, but we're not in the pool. Like it's not a officiated thing. So when you win this National Pool Tour, you don't become like the national champion. You become the #1 hustler. And in the instruction manual for the game, it says that is, quote, the exact point of this game is to become the #1 hustler in the United States. So, #1 hustler in America, right here. It's